I'm Keith Banfield. Since 1994 I've been speaking, running training workshops and consulting to businesses. What I've found is that most people, when they decide to go into business, either buy an existing business or franchise, which can mean huge upfront costs and even ongoing fees as well, or they wing it and set up their own from scratch, and then the majority go bust within the first few years. What business owners really want is tried, tested and proven systems that will help them to quickly, easily and consistently make a profit. The sort of thing that they might get with a franchise, but without it costing them an arm and a leg. Which is why I wanted to share with you a new system that's available, that kind of gives you your cake and lets you eat it too. Let me explain. My colleague, entrepreneur Dan Buzzer and I have painstakingly documented and recorded an easy to follow process for running a successful small business, which we've called Profit Mechanics. It covers all the essentials and much more, like producing profit and loss and cash flow forecasts, how to sell against tough competition, how to manage your database, create strategic alliances, how to turn your website into a marketing machine, and a multitude of ways to attract more business. In a nutshell, it's a simple system for running and creating a successful and profitable small business. So let me show you what you'll get. Each pack contains 3 high-quality DVDs, including interviews with successful business owners, presentations to camera, and excerpts from live events. Customers told us that they also wanted to be able to listen to the program in the car. So you get an audio version as well on CD. Not just that, but each pack also comes with a comprehensive, perfect bound manual full of additional material, information and facts. In fact, there are over 500 manual pages in the first 4 boxes. The last box contains 6 bonus audio CDs too. In addition to those, you'll get a DVD of a live workshop taking you through how to measure the numbers in your business, an audio version as well, and a CD-ROM toolkit full of spreadsheets, templates and examples that you can adapt to your business. Customers told us that they wanted to be able to ask questions too. So each month you'll be included in a webinar where you can ask any questions you have. So as you can see, it's a very comprehensive system. So let's take a quick look at some of the video clips from the different programs. In fact, that's probably the most important piece of information. But do you know what I see on some people's business cards? They put woolly sort of explanations. So it'll be things like working together to achieve more. And you think, more what? Have you ever seen that? Working with your business to make you grow. Grow in what way? What, are you a consultant? Are you going to do something with our computers? So people often have these woolly expressions that actually don't mean anything. I did say in the write-up that I wanted to share with you one of the biggest mistakes I think that makes a massive difference in your marketing and in your business. And so what I need is a volunteer. I need a volunteer for this. Someone? Yeah? Lady at the front, do you want to come through? Hi. And what's your name? Jenny. Thank you very much for volunteering. Give her a round of applause. Now, Jenny, there are 2 things I wanted to volunteer for. The first is...
So, with a little bit of practice, your business can consistently create win-win relationships with other businesses, and the compounding effect can truly be phenomenal. So let's run through the purpose of each strategy and how they can be the most cost-effective marketing strategies most businesses can do and the most productive.
So as you can see in this example, both marketing methods worked and made more money than they cost, but the highly targeted approach gave a much lower cost of acquiring a new customer. Now the trick here is to write in a conversational way. In other words, write as though you're speaking to the person. So forget any jargon or long-winded explanations. This needs to be written in such a way that an 11-year-old can understand it.
My employees didn't share the same goal, And as we're developing Mini Movers and I'm developing my skills of being a good business and a leader, I started to recognise that, you know, my Mini Movers is really a person in itself. It has a personality, it has a culture and everything else. It needs its own goal. So I gave Mini Movers a goal many years ago that shared with all our consultants and shared with our senior staff and everything else.
If we were to look at, say, a small business owner then, and they're perhaps thinking of taking on a staff member, what should they be thinking about? If we go back to the first stage, which is perhaps placing an ad,
Yep.
what should they be thinking about in that ad?
I think the first thing is to really think about not who you're looking for, but what you want that person to achieve. And
Yes.
something that I love to do with clients is I sort of say to them, okay, so let's pretend it's 12 months' time and we're sitting down, maybe over a glass of wine, talking about how successful your hire has been.
One way that I've found that can really help, and this is part of the whole tilt process, is to be able to focus the customer beyond the sale. And it really is an adaptation to the old principle of the assumed close that was used many years ago. But this is based on the principle that I have observed is that most people are much more confident in seeing themselves as problem solvers than as decision makers.
Yes.
Educating them about the services that you offer, finding out about the services that they offer. So you create a referral partnership, and then you identify potential prospects within your database and their database, cross-refer to each other, build relationships with those prospects, make a sale.
Those would be the key journalists. So find the contact details, simply give them a call, introduce yourself, and then what you do is look at preparing a media release with the information on it and sending that through to them.
Okay, so from what you've said then, it could be as simple as just putting a survey out, because actually you see these a lot, don't you? Say new statistics reveal, or new survey reveals.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Now that you can see how comprehensive this program is, you're probably wondering what your investment will be to own it. I've given you so many bits of information. Let me just recap so that you can see what you're getting. So what you'll get is 13 DVDs, 19 audio CDs, 4 comprehensive workbooks, a CD-ROM toolkit, and 12 monthly webinars, and you get all of this in the entire program for just a one-off payment of $2,997 plus GST if you're in Australia. Over a year, that works out at less than $58 plus GST per week. The good news is that there's no hidden extras, no ongoing fees, and no more money for you to spend. So if you're running a small business, this will pay for itself many times over. You'll look back after a year and realise that using this system was one of the best decisions that you've made in your business ever. I hope you found this useful. Thank you for taking the time to watch it, and I look forward to talking to you in person on our next webinar. So to get your copy of Profit Mechanics, simply call us today on 1800 838 767.